Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our AI news briefing from GAI Insights. Exciting day with more news. We cover for the AI leaders and AI vendors and rate articles essential, important, and optional. We have a whole variety of articles today, including ones around Dragon Breath, Dragon Lightning. And then at the end, I want to tell you guys about a really exciting learning lab we have later today. But go ahead, Ankaj, we'll do the first article, please.
Sure, Paul. So the first one that we have for today comes from Salesforce. So they have launched Einstein SDR and Einstein Sales Coach. So they're two new autonomous AI sales agents.
Adam, I think you were assigned. Does this
Yes, sir.
pass your mustard for even talking about?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to all our new viewers, and thanks to everyone who's stick around. Samvav, I think you might be new. Hello, hi. Look, I was kind of on the fence here. This is Salesforce announcing Salesforce as news goes. I think Salesforce does have a significant presence, and it's important, certainly for people who have Salesforce, if they haven't already, to take note of what they're starting to offer in the tool. I would expect most people who have Salesforce have already started to evaluate and look at the costs associated with what they're offering. But this is two of the really classic use cases, right? It's a chatbot and it's a sales coach, and it's useful. It's kind of cool to think that you can sort of see it play out. Like, imagine a sales coach that can role play a call with a customer, and it looks at the sales history, it looks at your email conversation history with them, and it takes that in specifically to figure out how to test you and challenge you in that interaction with the customer. So it's some cool ideas, but some pretty basic use cases, and in many ways not to this is no surprise, right? Coming that Salesforce would be offering this sort of thing. You see the way they've been building their AI capabilities. So I could probably be swayed as optional or important is sort of the long and the short of it.
Luda, feeling optional to me. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel it's optional because it's just the next step. People who are using Salesforce, I'm sure, pretty aware that this is what's happening. So optional to me.
A couple of things I did want to note on this. I mean, we are seeing a couple different things. This fits in with the trend of existing incumbent vendors adding AI, companies seeing value in that because they have the data, but choking sometimes on the price. I think the second thing is it really fits in this mega trend that I'm seeing out there on AI coaches. I had a call with an AI startup that they're working with this HR thing where they're going to have what they offer, Adam, is every single company meeting you have, the AI HR coach is evaluating your leadership style and giving you feedback on it. So it's not meeting notes feeding, it's actually leader style and everything else. I don't know if that's Big Brother watching too much, but there's definitely some companies that are going to like that. I think
we've seen the scenario before. The company, it's going to record all of the salespeople's calls with their customers.
Yeah, and exactly, and start rating them. Didn't listen enough, or which is I think is really interesting. Called, our co-intelligence is there all the time, not only to help on us, but also to grade us and report back to the corporate. So when we have companies that have 5,000 employees and 5,000 digital twin co-intelligence out there, what is the HR policy for? I have a bad day and I tell a customer off, and the agent goes off and fires me on my way home, and didn't require any time there. So anyway, optional for this one. Next one, please.
Okay, the next one comes from the next one is about an open source model named Dracarys, which is to ignite GenAI fired coding.
Yeah, I think I assigned this one. I think it was optional. I love the dragons and the fire, but it's optional. It's a product announcement.
Yeah, just to note that this is for coding, and we see quite a bit of action in the coding space. So this is to note that we'll be reviewing a couple of items, right? News items related to that.
Right. Great. Optional here. I assume everyone saw the thing from AWS talking about the massive savings they've seen already with coding, particularly on Java upgrades and stuff. So it really is breathtaking. Luda, do you mind? I need to step away for 2 minutes. Do you mind leading through the next article here?
Sure. All right, optional for this one.
Okay, the next one that we have come from Bayer Crop Science. So it talks about how they have blended Gen AI and data science to get an innovative edge.
Yeah, this is very interesting, right? We've talked about discovery of new products and new materials effectively. What they're trying to do is build a platform at which they are working on discovering new seeds and better ways to generate produce, essentially. And that, it seems like they're having really promising results. The platform is in testing and will be available later on in, they think 25, not 24. But it is a fascinating area. And it's not surprising that they're trying it in the crops. But if they are successful, I think this can actually advance the agriculture and availability of good crops over time. So, but for the general public, it probably is optional. It's an interesting test case, but it is optional. What do you think, Adam?
I'd agree. I think it focuses a lot on what they're doing with Amazon Bedrock and Amazon Q, and in many ways, it's kind of a commercial for that more than anything, because they don't get into any of the details. They talk about having transitioned from a closed source third-party model that they were using before to using Bedrock and the benefit with that, but they go into no details about how this actually works or what exactly they're going to be doing, and it's not out yet. So it is exciting. I look forward to seeing, and I'll next year we'll rate it important when we get the news that this is actually available, right?
Right. One of our viewers is saying that Bayer is a leader in using AI for crop science innovation, and that article just highlights it, obviously. Yeah. Right. So the Bedrock note, Adam, is very interesting because there's essentially kind of closed models, right, and open models, right? So Bedrock particularly is of interest to enterprises. Why? Because they essentially offer you an ability with two values. One, to experiment with other open models and see which one fits you the best. And then two is access to your data, and you can keep it private effectively. So it is an interesting combination that is competing with a closed loop like Gemini and the like. And we'll see what actually is best, right?
Yeah, I think more and more we'll be seeing people consolidate into whatever cloud their data is already in.
Yeah,
because that's just where it's going to be easiest for them to continue to know that they're at least only trusting one person as their provider, both for the cloud data, the cloud compute, but also for the inference and the models. So right. Then it's what do they offer, or are they open to you plugging other things in or bringing things in-house, but it's really into your cloud, right, for the security posture.
Yeah. But optional. This one is optional.
But optional, yeah.
Yeah, let's move to the next one.
Okay, the next one comes from Anysphere. So Anysphere is the startup behind AI-powered coding tool Cursor, and Cursor has been getting a lot of attention on Twitter. People are saying that a combination of Cursor plus Claude is doing wonders for them.
Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm on X quite a bit, formerly known as Twitter, and there's been a couple things I've been seeing going around, probably more than on other social media. One is a video of, I believe, an 8-year-old girl illustrating how she worked with Cursor and Claude to code a web page and add all these cool little effects to it and stuff. And it just shows the way how powerful natural language becomes in these contexts, to be able to talk to Cursor and say, make it bigger and put it in the center. And the code actually updates, and she could real time look at this web page. We've talked about the coding assistance of the trend, and I believe it's Andrei Karpathy just recently posted, and he has no endorsement, no connection, but talked about Cursor with Claude. And now people are really onto Cursor with Claude and Replit, which is web hosting. So then you can have it write things that are beyond the capabilities of just like an artifact, and actually do like full-blown React and scripting and all that stuff into a web page, and just chat with the bot, and it gets deployed all the way to the cloud, into production real time. So it's incredibly powerful. This 60 million, I think, I would be surprised to see them actually do more funding rounds, because they're already starting to generate revenue very quickly. And they have a lot of attention, a lot of traction. A lot of developers I see are saying, oh, I've just gotten onto this bandwagon, and I am blown away how much better this is than Copilot. It's not just the natural language capabilities. It's, as we'll see in an article at the end of the night, it's what's happening under the hood in terms of how it's actually going about being a coding assistant. They're focusing their research on it. They're small, and they're definitely someone to keep an eye on. I'd say this is probably, Cursor is important. I don't know if this 60 million in their funding is important. I think like I said, they would have been okay anyway. But they had OpenAI funding them, I believe, in the first round, and A16Z in this round. So they're going to be just fine. Possibly, yeah. I guess I'd say important news if people weren't paying attention to Cursor for them to start to.
Yeah, I would put it as important. I don't know what Paul thinks. The reason being, it is a funding announcement, but it's of note who funded the company, and it's folks who are really deep in AI and in OpenAI and GitHub, and so this.
Yeah, it's the guy who started GitHub, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, this is of note. Right, so they're saying, they're applauding this thing. The second item is that it's MIT grads or students who started it, and their objective is to get the molasses out of coding. Molasses meaning there are lots of rudimentary tasks that you need to do, and if that's avoided, that makes it much speedier, right? And it's natural language as well. So essentially, it's getting through the coding much faster. And that certainly is of note for any enterprise leader to know that this is happening, and their teams should be using it as much as possible. Not just necessarily Cursor, but this is a development that is certainly of note. So I rate it as important.
I'll just add, I'm quoting Michael Novak put in the comments there. Simplifies coding by offering instant answers, intelligent code rewrites, and bug detection. And their bug detection, particularly, I hear from people, it's amazing the way it can find and fix on its own, and so that you just sit back and sort of, tab, I think is what Karpathy said is the new like thing. Way to go for coding. He said it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And Adam and Lou, that's why Ankaj as well. That's why I also think it's important. I think it's really important for the AI leader to understand the transformational trends going on in coding. We said for years that software coding was this intellectually advanced thing. We want all our sons and daughters go there. It's going to be a well-paying job forever. We're never going to be able to automate this here. And the amount of innovation and automation is going through the roof. And I challenge the AI leader to say, what is so different about the automation going on with software coding than into your customer service or your drug discovery? So we have other processes that we have high knowledge, high salary workers doing stuff where these tools are coming in and really automating that subject matter expert to very often still stay in the loop, but take out 50, 80% of that drudgery. And, and the GitHub lineage is non-trivial. So
Stripe and GitHub.
Yeah.
True.
Yes, like geez.
And OpenAI. Okay. So yeah, I guess.
Important.
All right, next.
Okay, the next one comes from AWS and HappyFox. So HappyFox has been using AWS to automate agent responses, and they are using Claude to do that, and Amazon's Bedrock as well.
forget who signed this.
Oh, it's you.
Oh, yeah, I had optional. You know, I wish Happy Fox. I love the name. I wish we'd have named our company Happy Fox Adam just because it's a cool name. But this is a product announcement about a use case we all know well. So optional.
Okay.
Good. No disagreements.
Yeah,
Next.
no objection here. Yeah.
But the results, guys, Ankash, if you go, sorry, go back. If you go higher in the article, there is a little right here, the little table of how much the results are, and that's just incredible. Even though I agree with optional, but just to look at what's happening in productivity and yeah, it's just amazing.
I mean, we've talked, and I've not tried to be controversial, but I do wonder if 50% of billable rates in the law firm will go away in 3 or 4 years. I actually wonder if half the customer service employees will be gone in 4 years. It's so mundane, 90% of what they're doing, Luda, and we're seeing incredible services like this. I mean, it was like 5 million people, 10 million people doing customer service around the world.
Yeah, I don't. There just won't be a need for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very mundane, but sometimes you get a really hairy case, right? And that's when the agents are needed. So you kind of, and they go, I ran a large customer service entity with like thousands of people when I was at GE. So you train them as they go from really mundane and they go up and they get to be really good and fast. So I think that's the necessary, but maybe there will be a coach, and we'll see how this develops.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking, I'm going back to the software analogy. You know, I think, I forget what AWS was saying, was like saving like 4,500 software developers time. I mean, I don't think the software developer goes away, but the labor component to handle a set number of calls, I think could be reduced in half in 3 or 4 years.
That's for sure. The mundane calls will go away. The trust needs to be higher because currently the assistants that we have, they're not AI, right? They're not very powerful and they're limited and you want to get to human. That will need to be overcome for that to become a reality.
Well, and that's why I think on the customer service side, right now, we're still just automating in general routine things that my stock trade go through here. I think they need to go to the next level where it's emotional management, Adam. And then you come in, whatever your emotion is, I'm going to manage that to get to the outcome that you leave with a good emotional thing.
You continue to want to do business with me.
Exactly. Right. I'm going to leave. You're going to come in frustrated. I'm going to have you leave happy. Now, maybe it's popping you to human. Maybe it's giving you a $50 gift certificate. Maybe it's giving you an upgrade to a status thing. It's agent based.
Actually, it would know that $30 is enough, right? It wouldn't just give 50 to everyone. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So optional. This one. Next one.
Okay, the next one is a research paper and it talks about automated design of agentic systems.
This is interesting, but I think optional because it is a research paper and there are lots of items that will get to be cleared out, especially the security and the trustworthiness and the like. But it is very interesting. So I rated it optional, but it is an important development, right? What they're trying to do is create agents with automatically and design those agents using LLMs, using foundation models. And it seems like it's working on math tasks, on general intelligence tasks. They beat the hand-designed or human-designed agents. And that's fascinating. However, garbage in, garbage out, they stress that if you allow the meta agent that they deployed here or employed here to do it using, the search space that wasn't vetted, then you can pull in some really unexpected results. And that hasn't been quite tightened, I don't think. So optional, but a really interesting development. And for people who are monitoring how we're going to get to much more intelligence, this is one of the ways for sure.
Hey, Luda, I didn't get a chance to read this one. Did they actually give a definition of what they mean by agent by chance?
Yes.
Okay, great.
And maybe Ankaj, if you go to the full PDF, we can find it. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll just expand on it a little bit. So they have ADAS, which is automated design of agentic systems. So they basically have an agent that makes agents, and then it learns from those agents and makes better agents. And it gets to the point where the system could design agents that were better than the hand-designed agents that people were making. So it's just a really interesting angle of sort of that iterative self-improvement. And we're going to see a lot more of this, I think.
But,
Yeah.
but this stays within that research, very exciting, but that research lane called 100% autonomous. Just let them go. You know, this is not agent that knows when to pull the human in a loop, that knows when to actually, I mean,
no, but this is at a meta layer policy. You can keep this thing in an enclosed environment and use it to develop agents that then you evaluate and implement somewhere else.
Okay.
It's like an agent factory, right?
Okay.
And it may have things that are going off the rail, but they're not out there. Yeah. They're just being sort of explored. But yeah, there is some significant self-replication concerns almost evolutionarily with this sort of thing.
Adam, as you talk, I've got this thing like this mad scientist. He's got like this agent box that he's like, it's like a virus. You start the virus, you watch what's going in a controlled environment, and you kind of learn from it. It's really
Well, I can't find it, but it is in here. I saw it and noticed that we were looking for it. That's fine. And they define this meta agent system on top of it with the 3 buckets. It's very interesting, but I don't think we should send it for the executives to read. It's premature.
Right. Optional for AI later. All right, Ankaj, next one, please.
Okay, the next one again comes from Cursor, and they talk about how they are editing files at 1,000 tokens per second.
I got this. So this is just as I alluded to before. They're really going hard at finding new ways to allow humans to interact with their code. It's not just sort of, I think Copilot is more built on top of an existing framework and helping facilitate people to use it versus completely reinventing the approach. And so I think the user experience for coders on Cursor, because of research and innovation like this, is going to have them continue to make ground and get market share. This article itself, I'd probably consider optional. It's pretty heavy on the technical side in terms of how they actually go about some of their speeds and feeds and underlying improvements.
Yeah, but it might be connected, or maybe we should package it with the article of the funding to demonstrate how they're using it for more depth. Combine them. Adam?
Yeah, it sounds like optional for now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Ankaj, you want to give us a summary and we'll wrap up and then we'll do the highlight tonight?
Yes, Paul. Just a second. So we only have one important for today.
Well, it's Monday. I'm just surprised we have any important. Usually Monday and Friday, right? Tends to be the slow.
Yep.
So for our AI leaders, one important, pay attention to Anysphere, this incredible new startup with lineage from Stripe and GitHub and MIT that's really fundamentally rethinking. Adam, I thought you said that well stated. They're taking a different approach, thinking about coding rather than just repaving the cow paths. And so it's very exciting. And I assert that it's important for the AI leaders to understand the trends in the AI automation world over there, because I think those are representative, or at least can be representative of what can happen in customer service and sales and others here. So thank you, everyone. Tonight in our Learning Lab, we have a fantastic presentation from David Howard from Cox Automotive. This is a presentation I saw a couple of weeks ago at the massive AI4 conference in Vegas. I had 5,000 attendees and, oh goodness, 120 exhibitors. David has gone through and developed a methodology. He's going to walk through it as taking questions that's specific to your use case in your company here, and then evaluating 4 different models. He can make one. He evaluated 4 models, 3 closed, 1 quote open, and then setting up a system where the models are judging each other, and then you're taking bias out of it. So it's a very the first time I've really seen a very systematic, kind of almost company-specific benchmark, Adam. We talked about all these external benchmarks that everyone codes to, and he's got a methodology saying, all right, let's first go through, at least at a high level, kind of the 60 or 80 or 120 use cases we have for ours, and then have the models going there, and he's got a nice way to graph it. And it's interesting, from that, he comes with some conclusions about different models here. So I found it very well done. I'm delighted.
Oh, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm delighted he's going to share. He's done a lot of work on it. It was very well received in Vegas, and I appreciate him sharing in our learning lab. We'll put up on YouTube for others to learn. So that's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, and Adam in Australia, it's
9 a.m. Tuesday.
Morning Tuesday. Well, thank you, everyone. Fabulous discussion as usual, and have a great Monday.
Well, hold on, Paul. Let's thank the audience because they are doing a great job and commenting and the like. So please give us more comments as you're listening. And
Michael, Ram,
have to make it interesting.
Sambhav.
Yeah, Ram, absolutely, and like us on YouTube. We're trying to get our social skills better. We still aren't doing we're starting doing an intro, even though we have an intro email. We still are getting better, but really appreciate all the great feedback, and I'm continually surprised how many people tell me they listen to. For instance, Luda, on Friday, I had a call with Danielle Roos, who runs CSEL at MIT. She has a new book coming out. I was doing a 3-minute video interview of it, and she said, "Oh, Paul, before I start, I want to let you know how much I enjoy your daily email." And Adam, I had no idea she was even on our daily email. This is Danielle Roos, who runs the largest computer. And I said, "Dang, I just got to ask you why." I said, "Why it's the last thing you need is yet another." And you're in the middle. And she said, "Paul, the same thing we hear again and again is that we have an opinion. We put an opinion out there. We talk about applying it, not speeds and feeds. Third, we have the EIO. And because it's moving so fast," she goes, "every time we say something's essential, Luda, she looks at it." And she said, "Maybe the 3rd time." I said, "Oh, I didn't know that. And now you've caused me to go click in the article, and then I'll judge if it's actually that." So it's
That's
been
great. That's great. Danielle is a great lady. I think she takes a lot of information very quickly. It's an end process.
Really, really, really talented individual here. So great. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see many of you online tonight at Learning Lab.